Fox 4 is celebrating Black history with a look at the past and how it can help pave the way to a better future. This morning, developer Don Patterson is sharing his plans for the historic McCollum Hall in Fort Myers. Our Leslie Delaspore has more.
He had a heck of a lot more lifting to do in terms of development than I do today. He had to deal with some of the racial injustice that was taking place during Jim Crow. He managed to cobble together enough money to actually find the dollars to actually make this project happen. And we're just fortunate to be in a position to actually restore his building to its original beauty.
Clifford Buck McCullum Sr. and his wife Gertrude had a vision of a place where all could come to enjoy. After coming to Fort Myers when he was 30 years old, McCullum ran gambling games and used his winnings to invest in land for housing and commercial buildings like the one on the corner of Cranford Avenue and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. McCollum Hall, a two-story building that tells a story of the past in the heart of the Dunbar community. Don Patterson, president and CEO of Riva Development Corporation, says his vision for McCollum Hall is to restore it to its original glory while incorporating a vision for the future.
So the upstairs is the dance hall. The dance hall is actually activated by way of entertainers such as Dizzy Gillespie, Duke Ellington, B.B. King, coming down through on the Chitlin circuit through Fort Myers to either go to Miami or Tampa. They would stop here, from what I understand, was on maybe Tuesdays and Wednesdays, again just on their way to the bigger metropolitans. But when they came, the hall itself was packed. The downstairs, when originally conceived, was a retail space. The uses were typically a shoe store, a clothier. I believe there may have been a barber shop here as well. There were a lot of folks that didn't look anything like me who would actually come and participate in dancing and seeing some of the acts that were coming from afar. Ultimately, when we're done, we'd like to be able to do the same.
Back in the 1930s and 40s, although McCollum Hall was the upscale social heart of the community, a rope across the dance floor divided the room between blacks and whites. But today, Patterson says McCollum Hall will be a place for all to enjoy.
So we're extremely excited about the final product. It will be finished out entirely with the idea that the second floor is going to be the dance hall, which is probably the most important piece of the restoration. We're going to reactivate that space as, again, an entertainment space. It'll be a little bit more than just music entertainment. We're hoping to reach out to repertory theaters. We have the idea that we're trying to reach out to Imaginarium, which is directly across the street, and others, with the idea that it becomes a bit diverse in how that space is activated. On the ground floor, we've come up with a concept that is, in fact, a food hall. Food hall incorporating between 7 and 8 vendors, a variety of different food types on the ground floor that we've proudly named Oak and Ivy. Oak and Ivy pays homage to Paul Laurence Dunbar. Paul Laurence Dunbar was a poet laureate back in the early 1900s.
Patterson says he understands his role in restoring the original vision of McCollum Hall, and he feels as if he is standing on the shoulders of its original visionary.
I come from a community similar to a Dunbar. I've had the benefit of a great education, some phenomenal work experience, and the idea of being able to bring those tools and resources to the Dunbar community gives me great pride. I'd like to think that what we come up with in the very end will make him proud. And I like the idea of believing that future developers of color, hopefully from the Dunbar community, will see what we've been able to achieve here, or what I've been able to achieve here, and believe that they can be a part of that in the future as well.
Patterson says he has a lot of contributors to thank, including the City of Fort Myers mayor, council members, the Fort Myers Community Redevelopment Agency, and more. He says this historic site will get its new makeover in the first quarter of 2022. In Fort Myers, Leslie Delaspore, Fox 4 News.